In this video, we're going to talk about learning target 2.3.3, which is to graph a real-world equation. So in this problem, it says Ryan's gas tank started with 12 gallons of gas, and he used 2 gallons per hour. Using the following equation, determine if this graph will be discrete or continuous, and then graph. So the first thing I want to do is I want to determine what two variables I'm talking about. So the one thing that I'm measuring is the gallons of gas, so that's 1. The next thing I'm measuring is the hours that I'm driving, because that is changing the gallons. So that's the second one. Once I have my variables, I like to label my graph first so I know which one is the independent and which one is dependent. My independent variable will always go on the x-axis. So I want to ask myself, which one is causing the other to change? Well, in this story, the hours are causing the gallons to go down. So the hours are independent, meaning they should go on the x-axis. So that means on my y-axis is my gallons of gas. And I want to label these in a way that makes sense. So number of hours I could count by 1. So 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. For gallons of gas, it says I need to get to 12. And then I want to look at my slope and see, am I going up or down from there? Well, my slope is negative, so that means I need to go down from there. So as long as this y-axis goes to 12, I could count by 1s as well for this one. It does. So I'm going to label them. Since this doesn't type as small as I want to, you can label yours. Just count by 1s each time. Pretend mine say 1s as well. So now I want to start plotting some dots. So first thing I want to do is I want to find my b value. So I know that my b is just the constant, which is 12. So that means I'm going to go and I'm going to put a dot at 12. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm going to put a dot on the y-axis at 12. Then it's saying that my slope is going down 2 over 1. So I'm going to go from here down 2 over 1, put a dot. Down 2 over 1, put a dot. And now would be a good time to talk about if this is discrete or continuous. So discrete and continuous, the real difference is whether or not you can have fractions or decimals. For continuous, you can break the variables down into fractions and decimals. For discrete, you cannot. So I'm going to look at both of my variables. Let's start with number of hours. And I'm going to ask myself the question, can I break hours down into fractions or decimals? Well, yeah, I can have less than a full hour, so that one makes sense. Now I'm going to look at gallons of gas. Can I break gallons of gas down into fractions or decimals? Well, yeah, that makes sense too, because it's not like every time I turn my car on, I drop a whole gallon of gas. I drop a little bit. Every time I drive, I drop a little bit. So this example is going to be continuous, and I want to explain why. So it's continuous because both gallons and hours can be broken down. If even one cannot be broken down, you have to choose discrete. The one thing to remember is that if it's continuous, we connect the dots. If it's discrete, we don't. So I'm going to connect my dots. And this, you should use a ruler. This is probably going to be super shaky, but my line should look something like this. And I want to put an arrow at the end because I would continue to go down. And that's it. Make sure you find your independent and dependent, label and scale your graph correctly, graph your line, and then determine if it's continuous or discrete, and then either connect or don't connect your dots.